Representative, welcome back to the program here. A lot has happened over the last few days since all this transpired. I'm curious, kind of how things have played out for you, what you've heard from constituents, because it was on again, then off again.
Well, thank you for allowing me to be on the show. And it's been a roller coaster with a lot of these judicial proceedings where SB4 has been blocked um, uh, or SB4 has been able to be enforced for at least less than half a day, probably. It's just been a roller coaster of emotions. To answer your questions about your direct question about constituents, look, we had a town hall meeting, Know Your Rights town hall meeting, probably right around the end of February, before the March 5th implementation or enforcement of the law coming into effect. And and mind you, these are folks that are U.S. citizens that they just so happen to be of Mexican descent or
Sure.
Hispanic descent. The feeling of fear and is palpable. Folks are very concerned about being profiled by law enforcement that doesn't have any training in federal immigration law, and so that's really from a constituent standpoint. Houston Harris County, there's 5 million people that live in Houston Harris County. 40+% of that population has a Spanish surname. And so we are a welcoming community. People love to gravitate towards Houston Harris County precisely because of that diversity. And so you have a lot of folks that are very fearful of being unjustly stopped. I personally, look, I'm a proud American, born in this country. On my mother's side, 3 or 4 generations of Texans, of proud Texans and proud and ultimately proud Americans. But my father was born in Mexico, and so we have obviously roots in Mexico. We don't want a situation where we folks that look like us are one, not unjustly stopped, but two, that a lot of our immigrant communities fearful that they can't call law enforcement when they are victims of crime as well.
Representative, do you know of anyone who was arrested or might have been stopped during the few hours this was actually in place?
Look, the law was in effect for maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, and so at this point, that it's too early to tell how the law was actually implemented in those 4 to 5, 6 hours. And so there's obviously no reports of anybody being impacted personally by SB4 being in effect.
There's still legal challenges that lie ahead here. A lot of people are predicting this is still going to end up back in the Supreme Court when the justices will actually consider the merits of the case, which they didn't do the other day. When the merits are considered, will SB4 survive, or what will happen?
Well, that's up to the Supreme Court to decide. Look, this is a very far right wing court. It's a 6-3 majority. President Trump was successful in nominating and getting and ramming through several Supreme Court justices while he was president, to the detriment of people that care about the Constitution. Look, I'm a practicing attorney. I'm also obviously a member of the legislature. I'm a defender of the Constitution, and so we hope we obviously are going to use every tool available, legal tool available to stop this bill from becoming law or being enforced. I'm sorry, it's already law, but being enforced.
Well,
And we're just
what are your legal options though?
well, that's what the judicial process is for, and that's where you have an expedited process now at the Fifth Circuit. Should a whatever decision they make, I'm almost positive there will be a direct appeal to the United States Supreme Court to also make a determination, ultimate determination. They're the arbiters of the supreme law of the land, and so we obviously have to adhere to that ultimate decision. But my sense is that it will end up in the United States Supreme Court because you also had a similar law, SB 1070, that was struck down on similar proceedings in 2012, 2013, I believe. Look, SB4 is worse than SB 1070 that was ultimately decided that was unconstitutional in 2012, 2013. And so that's the ultimate fate that we believe it should land. Look, If you want to talk about border security, look, there are issues along the border. There was a bipartisan President Biden, Senator Langford, a Republican senator. There was a bipartisan deal struck in Washington, D.C. It was House Republicans. It was President Trump that sabotaged that deal. And so if many of us that get elected, we're problem solvers. We want to address issues that Texans have and Americans have, but due to political reasons, due to the inaction by Republican members of the House, Speaker Johnson did not even act, did not even participate in the negotiations. And so when we're trying to address issues, and those issues are being hammered out in a bipartisan way, that does no service to the American people. You also have SB 4.
Let me ask you this, though, but Republicans say that there's more that the president can do single-handedly with executive orders. Is he doing enough to help stem the flow of undocumented immigrants?
Look, we have to step back a bit further. This has been a historical issue that we've had along the U.S.-Mexico border between migration patterns. This is an international issue. We have antiquated immigration laws that haven't been fixed in probably 40 years. And so there has been beef up Border Patrol infrastructure along the border with personnel, with staffing and technology along the border and ports of entry. Look, we also have to acknowledge that every American in this country and every Texan, to some degree, benefits from that type of migration pattern. Why? Because when folks come over, they're able to get jobs, right? When folks, we really enjoy that cheap labor in the construction industry, in the service industry, in the agricultural industry. So every American at some level has bears some responsibility in why we have these migration patterns, but also international unrest in places like Venezuela that have authoritative regimes, places like Nicaragua, Central America that has a history of civil war. Look, you now have unrest in Haiti, right? So you have international issues that influence immigration patterns throughout the world, and so there's a way to treat people humanely that can utilize the asylum process. But look, we have 3 million people that are still trying to go through the normal asylum process. And so we need to beef up the federal judges, their salaries, but also personnel. We can beef up technology at ports of entry. We can increase more Border Patrol, but it also takes Congress to be a partner in that because they are the funding source. The president has limited powers in certain instances, but in this instance, he needs partners. He needs partners in Congress to help fund these initiatives as well.
The Texas Department of Public Safety says its plan right now is to detain anyone, when this goes into effect, if it goes into effect, to detain anyone they visually see crossing the border. But as you know, the law lets police do this anywhere in the state of Texas. What do you expect the reality to be if indeed this does go into effect?
Look, as mentioned before, I'm from Houston, Harris County. We are over 300 miles away from the U.S. border. What this bill does, it empowers any law enforcement agency, whether you're a sheriff, whether you're an ISD PD, whether you are a local PD, whether you're a constable, it gives that law enforcement agency the authority to make a spot determination if somebody is in this country with documentation or not. And that is they fear, because U.S. citizens can get caught up into this quagmire, this chaotic situation where local law enforcement, without any federal immigration training, I think that's one. The second issue is if the police officer cannot make that spot determination, you are detained. You get detained and you get to go through to a magistrate. and that magistrate also doesn't have any federal immigration training. And that magistrate will make an ultimate decision on if a person who has been detained in our local county jails, as a matter of fact, and that magistrate would determine if that person is in this country with documentation or not. And then thirdly, it creates a deportation force, because now that local law enforcement agency has to then now utilize its own local resources, like the could be the Houston Harris County Jail Processing Center. That personnel take it away from what we already have in Harris County, one of the largest detention centers, the largest in the country is the Harris County Jail. And so you could have an overcrowding problem. It's going to exacerbate local law enforcement resources. And so look, let's look at it from that fiscal standpoint too. Is the cost associated to our local law enforcement, county and city agencies?
There, of course, is another hearing on this next month, back in the Fifth Circuit, I believe. What are you going to be watching for as this unfolds legally?
Well, look, what we're watching for, and look, you already had a hearing a couple days ago on this. It was immediate in that roller coaster. At some point, the bill was allowed to be in effect for 8-9 hours, I believe, less than 8-9 hours, and then I think at close to midnight, 11 o'clock at night, it was blocked again. By definition, it was blocked again. The next day, you had a hearing by a 3-judge panel. Just as an observer of the court system of the Fifth Circuit and the U.S. Constitution, you could hear some reservations. The questioning of the Solicitor General of Texas really couldn't answer precisely why the bill was enacted and why the state of Texas law enforcement agencies, usurping federal authority is problematic. And so what we're obviously looking for is in detail. You have to pay attention to the questioning by the 3-judge panel, but ultimately the Fifth Circuit will make a decision. Once that decision is made, we will obviously be ready on appeals to the U.S. Supreme Court. Look, it's not a favorable court, the Fifth Circuit, nor the United States Supreme Court. And so we're just hopeful that cooler heads prevail, and that looking at our constitutional structure, where states are part of the United States, and there's certain limitations to that authority, just like the U.S. Congress has certain statutory authority based on our U.S. Constitution, because ultimately the U.S. Constitution is the supreme law of the land, but it's really how it's interpreted. And right now, you cannot have a state going rogue in trying to enforce federal immigration law where they have no training, not that they don't have any role in it, but that they're trying to usurp your U.S. Border Patrol law enforcement arm of the United States.
Before we let you go, I want to ask you about the election results on Super Tuesday, just statewide, based on what we saw and what you saw. I'm sure it looks like the Republican Party of Texas and those who were nominated are moving farther to the right. What do you expect the next legislative session to look like?
Look, I've been in the legislature now 16 years, going on my 9th term. I'm proud to represent the community I represent, but the Republican Party of today is not the Republican Party of even 15, 16, 17 years ago. You have a Republican Party that is made a hard, continues to make a hard right turn on its policies, on the things that they champion. And this is the party of Trump. And so he has a stronghold on the GOP primary apparatus. And so it's very unfortunate, because it's a very divisive, and it's just unfortunate because average Texans, average Americans really want us to resolve issues, particularly in the legislature. And what I'm fearing is that Washington style politics has already seeped into the Texas legislature, where we've had a history of bipartisanship. Look, the Speaker of the House, whether you were a Democrat or Republican in modern times, was elected by members of both parties, and so I think my fear is that the legislature will continue to make a hard right turn, where you don't have reasoned legislation that gets through the legislature, a vigorous debate in the legislature. But this is the party of Trump, and right now, he's a dozen-time indicted former president. Right, he has financial woes right now. He has tons of criminal and legal woes right now, and so that's if that's who the Texas GOP is following right now. Texas is in a whole lot of hurt because that divisive type of rhetoric is really hurtful for average Texans, hardworking people that really just want to send their kids to school, to safe schools, to good schools, well-funded schools, live in a safe neighborhood, have affordable health care. None of those issues really align with what's going on with President Trump.
Representative, we are out of time. I appreciate the insight, though. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.